Have you ever sat in silence and wondered what exactly is happening in meditation? Is there something beyond stillness? Is there a deeper structure behind the peaceful breath, the calm mind, the gentle focus? And have you heard words like Samadhi and Dharani tossed around, maybe in sacred texts or teachings, without really understanding what they mean and, more importantly, how they're already unfolding in your life? Welcome back to the channel. In today's journey, we'll explore two of the most powerful yet often misunderstood concepts in Buddhist and yogic tradition, Samadhi and Dharani. We'll unpack what they really are, how they differ, how they work together, and how, whether you realize it or not, you're already walking these two ancient paths. This isn't just about intellectual understanding, it's about illumination. Because once you grasp what Samadhi and Dharani really represent, your experience of meditation, prayer, focus, and even your daily life can transform completely. These aren't just spiritual buzzwords, they are energetic doorways into the deepest truth of who you are. So let us begin by stepping out of the fog of confusion and into the clear light of awareness. In the most basic sense, Samadhi is a state of deep, unified concentration. It's what happens when the mind stops chasing distractions and merges into a singular, expansive awareness. It is still, clear, effortless presence. Dharani, on the other hand, refers to something more subtle, but equally profound. It is the sustaining power of that awareness. It is the thread that holds sacred teachings, insights, and realizations together. If Samadhi is the silent mountain, Dharani is the unseen gravity that holds the mountain in place. Samadhi is absorption. Dharani is cohesion. Samadhi is the falling away of all form. Dharani is the subtle structure that remains, like the golden thread that ties the beads of a mala, or the resonance that remains after a sacred mantra is spoken. Now let us deepen this with a metaphor. Imagine a musician. When she enters Samadhi, she becomes one with the music. Her mind disappears. There is no effort, no self-consciousness, only sound flowing through space, no division between player and instrument, pure unity. But what sustains that unity? What allows her to remember the song, to hold the rhythm, to channel the emotion without losing balance? That is Dharani. It is not flashy, it is not loud, but it is essential. Without Dharani, the music falls apart. With it, the music becomes timeless. In the Buddhist scriptures, Dharani is often translated as mnemonic device or chant, but its meaning is far deeper than memory tricks. Dharani is the energetic matrix that holds sacred truth. It is the echo of realization, the vibrational code of awakening that stays with you long after the experience ends. So how does this apply to you, not as a scholar, but as a seeker? Every time you meditate and feel yourself drop into stillness, you are touching Samadhi. Every time you carry that stillness into your life, holding on to insight, clarity, compassion, that is Dharani. Samadhi is the doorway. Dharani is the path you walk through it. You don't need to be in a temple or retreat center to experience this. In fact, you may already be living it more than you think. Consider those moments when you were so fully present, watching a sunset, holding a newborn, sitting in nature, that the sense of I disappeared. You were not thinking about the moment. You were the moment. That is a taste of Samadhi. And later, when that moment stayed with you not just as memory, but as transformation, when you walked differently, spoke more gently, breathed more slowly, that was Dharani. Samadhi is the silence. Dharani is the echo. Samadhi is the drop in the ocean. Dharani is the ripple it creates. This understanding changes everything, because it reminds you that awakening is not about escaping the world, it's about entering it more deeply, more consciously, with wisdom and love intact. In the yogic tradition, Samadhi is often considered the ultimate goal, the climax of spiritual practice. But in Mahayana Buddhism, something more is required. Not just personal absorption, but compassionate return. This is where Dharani becomes essential. Because true awakening is not just being free, it is being free and staying free, for the benefit of all beings. That's why the Bodhisattva doesn't just sit in Samadhi forever. She returns carrying the flame of insight, sustained by the thread of Dharani, to light the way for others. Now let us make this even more real. Think of your own inner life. Have you ever had a breakthrough moment, a sudden realization, a burst of peace, a flood of clarity only to lose it a day later? That's not a failure. That's the absence of Dharani. The insight was real. The light was true. But without the thread to hold it, it slipped away. Dharani is what turns a flash of awareness into lasting transformation. And it is cultivated not through more striving, but through subtle continuity practices like mantra, mindfulness, ethical living, sacred repetition, intentional remembering. This is why many teachers emphasize daily practice, not for performance, but for coherence. Because Dharani is coherence, the invisible container that holds Samadhi's brilliance long enough for it to become who you are. In your life, Dharani might look like coming back to the breath when you're stressed, speaking kindly even when upset, returning to your intention in moments of doubt, reciting a mantra not as a ritual but as a lifeline, living your truth in a world that wants you to forget. You don't need to live in a cave to practice Samadhi. You don't need to memorize scriptures to embody Dharani. You only need to remember again and again who you really are. That remembrance is the seed of both Samadhi and Dharani. And over time, with patience and sincerity, you begin to experience something extraordinary. Life itself becomes meditation. Walking is prayer. Work is offering. Silence is music. Suffering is teacher. And every moment is both entry and echo, Samadhi and Dharani, dancing together. Let us close with a reflection. You are not far from awakening. You are not broken. You are already sitting at the doorway of Samadhi every time you pause, every time you listen, every time you choose presence. And you are already carrying Dharani every time you return to that presence, no matter how many times you forget. It's not about getting it right forever. It's about returning, over and over with love. Thank you for joining me on this exploration today. I hope this reflection helped you see your own practice not as a series of failures or successes, but as a beautiful, sacred unfolding. If you've ever felt that deep silence of Samadhi or carried its resonance through Dharani, share your experience in the comments. Your journey may mirror someone else's and give them courage. Like, subscribe, and share this video if it illuminated something for you. Thank you for watching this video. May you walk with awareness, speak with resonance, and live as the thread between silence and sound.